Searching for the Titanic. Vocabulary: voyage, a long trip by sea or through space. Wreck, a car, plane, or ship that has been badly damaged or destroyed. Plunged, fell or dropped suddenly. Discouraged, not having hope or confidence. Debris, pieces of something that has been broken or destroyed. Could the most famous shipwreck in history ever be found? A story by Lauren Tarshis. It was April 14th, 1912. The Titanic sped across the Atlantic Ocean. The sky glittered with stars. The sea was as still as glass. This was the Titanic's first voyage, but the ship was already famous. It was big, beautiful, and built from strong steel. People said it was unsinkable until disaster struck. At 11:40 p.m., the Titanic hit a huge iceberg. The ship's thick metal side tore open. Cold seawater rushed in. The Titanic was doomed. There weren't enough lifeboats for everyone. More than 1,500 people died. Less than 3 hours later, the ship disappeared into the North Atlantic Ocean. Would it ever be seen again? Pause and think. Why did the Titanic sink? Beyond reach, the Titanic disaster shocked the world. People wanted the ship to be found. Some hoped their loved ones had survived inside the wreck. But the Titanic was at the bottom of the ocean. It was under more than 2 miles of water. No person could survive in water so deep, even if they had air to breathe. That's because of water pressure. Water pressure is the force of water pushing against the body from all sides. As water gets deeper, water pressure gets stronger. Lungs can't breathe. Blood can't flow. Hearts can't beat. This is why humans had never explored the deep sea. The Titanic seemed lost forever. Pause and think, what is water pressure? Human sized worms. Over time, new inventions helped people explore the ocean. In 1960, two scientists got into a tiny submarine called a submersible. They went 7 miles down in the Pacific Ocean. The men didn't see much. It was dark underwater, but they made it back alive, and they inspired many people. One person they inspired was Robert Ballard. He grew up to become an oceanographer. That's a scientist who studies the sea. By the late 1970s, he had spent a lot of time in submersibles. On his journey, he saw amazing things. He saw fish that had no eyes, he saw human sized worms. But there was something else Ballard wanted to find: the Titanic. Pause and think. What does an oceanographer do? Deep water. In 1977, Ballard and a small team set out for the North Atlantic to look for the Titanic. Hopes were high, but just days into the journey, a piece of Ballard's ship plunged into the sea. He had to go home. Ballard wanted to try again, but he didn't have enough money, so he decided to work on something else. Ballard wanted a better way to explore the deep sea. Scientists could go deep underwater in submersibles, but the trips were dangerous, and the submersibles could stay down for only a few hours. Ballard decided to build a remote controlled submersible. It wouldn't need a human to go inside, and it would be covered with cameras. It would take pictures and videos that scientists could watch from a ship above. Pause and think, what problems did regular submersibles have? A new tool. Ballard and his team worked on a submersible, which they called Argo. But Ballard still wanted to find the Titanic. He decided to try again. On August 24th, 1985, Ballard and his team were back on a ship in the North Atlantic. This time, they had Argo. They sent Argo to the bottom of the ocean. Its cameras clicked. In a ship above, the team watched as images appeared on the screen. Argo worked. In the coming days, Argo took pictures and videos of many things. There were huge holes in the sea bottom. There were plants that could grow without light, but there was no sign of the Titanic. Pause and think. How did Argo make exploring the ocean easier? Ship of Dreams. On September 1st, 1985, Ballard went to his room to rest. He felt discouraged. Soon they would have to go home. This would this trip end like the first in failure? Then he was called back to the control room. On the screen, he saw a huge metal object. It was part of the Titanic's engine. Ballard's heart pounded. They had done it. After that, the team made many discoveries. The biggest one, the ship had cracked in half before it sank. Debris was scattered for more than a mile. They found dishes, shoes, and jewels on the sea floor. Ballard explored the wreck, but he didn't take any of the treasures. He left the wreck untouched. He wanted to honor the memory of those who had lost their lives on that starlit night in 1912. Pause and think, why didn't Ballard take anything from the shipwreck?